it's gonna be an interesting night tonight. That is for certain. I guarantee it. It's interesting to me. It's interesting to me everything that's going on right now. So what I want to do is I want to play the governor. I guess no, I get it. Is it the governor? Who is the guy that does this? I am unsure. We'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. It's this guy. Let's see. Well, I'm not. I guess I should know that. But anyway, I'll figure that out. I'll just go back to his introduction and we'll figure out his name. But let me pull up my windows. Everybody, while you're getting ready, while you're getting in the chat, please be sure to share this. Tell your friends. Spread the word. Spread the news. It really is helpful. Everybody that hits the share button. Tonight is going to be a fun night. It's going to be a fun night. I'll tell you why. The reason why it's going to be a fun night is because we're going to go over the cities quarantining themselves politely, very nicely, not very aggressively. Just it's like when the officer asks you nicely to see your ID. But as he asks you in a nice, sweet tone, hey, do you mind if I see your ID? He puts his hand on his gun. Slowly but surely. That is exactly how these quarantines are coming to pass right now. So if you're in the chat, let me know if you're here. We'll probably also do some open phone lines in the Discord because I haven't done that in a while. And that's like my favorite thing. And so if we're going to be talking about the death and tyranny that is coming to the United States right now, through a single sneeze, this is how we're going to do it. So I don't have any plans for the rest of the night other than to talk about this stuff. I'm excited about talking about this stuff because my wife actually sent me this video of, oh look, the title of the, oh, it is Newsom. It is Governor Newsom. Interesting. See, my wife sent me this video of Governor Newsom, and I could only watch about 5 minutes of it, and I was like, that's it. I'm going to do a live video. We're going to talk about it that way, because if I'm going to suffer through this, if I'm going to suffer through this stuff from Gavin Newsom, I need a strong, healthy chat to get me through. That is the truth. How can anybody cope with the tyranny and oppression, the polite tyranny and oppression that we are under, without the help of the wonderful chat? So, by the way, in case you're new here, I am on YouTube. You can go to youtube.com/CrownRightsMedia. There is where I normally pay most of the attention to the chat. I'll try to pay attention on Facebook, but I can't guarantee it. If you really want to say something and you really want to ask me a question, you can send a super chat. And, of course, I will automatically stop whatever I'm doing at the moment I get a super chat. And we will deal with whatever the comment is in the super chat. In addition, we will... We'll take some open phone lines in the Discord. So, but before this, this is unbelievable to me. This is unbelievable because I'm not a fan of Gamestop. I think they are one of the crooked retailers. I've worked retail. I worked Radio Shack. And there comes a point, I think, at the end of a company's life cycle that they just become awful places to work. When I worked at Radio Shack, maybe 2006 or so, probably all the way through high school. When I graduated from high school, 2003, 2006, 2007 maybe at the most. So I worked about 4 or 5 years at Radio Shack when I was out of high school. And they were sort of on the end of their life cycle, although they lasted another 10 years before they finally shut down. But it was in the air. and they were sort of they just became a place where they felt they were just in one of those positions where we have to save money. So in order to do that, we're going to change the way we compensate our employees, um, in order so that the company can save money, and then that snowballed into well, less sales, and then eventually the company went out of business. But anyway, so that's my personal opinion on where I think GameStop is. Nobody buys physical copies of games anymore, and if they do, it's used games, which people can get used games from anywhere. They don't necessarily have to go to GameStop to get those. eBay, yard sales. So no real reason for GameStop to be in business anymore. But anyway, they're doing something I think is kind of heroic. So let's go to this real quick. This window needs to be maximized. Don't you guys think more of this? More of this window? Well, why isn't it letting me? Oh well. Oh, well, you deal with it. Deal with the black space at the bottom for now. Oh wait, maybe I have to expand. Oh, it was my fault. Okay, okay. So GameStop says it's an essential retail service and should stay open during the pandemic. It's essential, and we're going to get into why it's important, especially for those in California. Why GameStop would want to classify itself. Now, this is a company. Remember, GameStop is on the verge of bankruptcy. They actually did quite well recently because they brought in the dude from Nintendo of America, the My Body is Ready guy. Reggie? They brought in Reggie to be on their board, and their stocks went up, and they brought in a lot of other top tier people to be on their board, so their stock recently went up. But not a good time for them to shut down, that's for sure. So anyway, GameStop is arguing, this is from Polygon, GameStop is arguing it sells essential products and should remain open in the face of government orders to close businesses like retail stores, restaurants, and bars in the face of the novel coronavirus pandemic, according to an email sent to employees on Thursday. According to 3 sources, the company sent out a missive to retail managers today saying, "We believe that GameStop is classified as essential retail and therefore is able to remain open at this time. This is because we can enable and enhance our customer experience in working from home. We've received reports of local authorities visiting." This is important right here. "We've received reports of local authorities visiting stores in an attempt to enforce closure despite our classification." The message says, and store managers are instructed to give a letter to law enforcement agents who make inquiry. The document states, "Thank you for what you're doing to keep us all safe. If you have questions about our store's hours, operations, or policies, I ask you to please call our corporate office." So GameStop is defying the federal government, and it will remain open. He will remain open. GameStop will remain open during this time because, of course, video are an essential commodity. And this is what's so fantastic. And we're going to get into this. Being classified as essential is incredibly important because only those businesses can stay open. So when you have something like GameStop right now, and they're saying, "Hey, video games are essential," it's for people who work from home. That way, instead of saying work from home, they should say, "Hey, look, man, we're providing an essential service of families who have just embraced homeschooling for the first time." That I might be able to agree with that one, but if you're working from home, you don't need to be playing video games unless your job is that of playing video games, which is very possible. But anyways, let's go to Gavin Newsom, the man. Oh, I have my my YouTube chat was hidden from me. That's not good. Okay, so let's go to Gavin Newsom, the one and only. This is the worst press rally I've ever seen. And the reason is because it's so hypocritical and it tries to be nice. But it is blatant abuse of government power, blatant abuse of government authority, and I have a lot of questions that need answers. And again, before we start this, if you're watching on Facebook, thank you guys for watching on Facebook. If you go to youtube.com/CarmenRightsMedia, I am live there. Please subscribe and like and watch and participate in the chat on YouTube. That is, I'm much more likely to respond to your chat there, and I'm guaranteed to respond to your chat if you send a super chat. Automatically, I'll stop the show and deal with whatever you bring up. But anyways, let's go ahead and start with Gavin Newsom. The man, the myth, the tyrant. Oh, let's go, shall we?
Have gotten to know you even more over the last few days. You have been an amazing voice and a tremendous leader and a dear friend. I love you for everything that you are doing for our city and county and your colleagues, and I thank you. I want to say thank yous again at the outset. Good evening, Los Angeles. I should start there. But I want to thank
By the way, let me know if you can hear it. That is as loud. I have all the volumes up, and that is as loud as it is as loud as the recording. So hopefully you guys can hear it okay.
All the people who are watching, the everyday folks that are still showing up to work to make sure that our hospitals are open, that our grocery stores are working, that our shelves are stocked, to the first responders and others who are showing the courage of our city together. And I want to kind of cut to the chase tonight. Everything that we're talking about up here as leaders is because of one central tenet, that human life is precious, precious to each one of us. And every decision we are making is with that in mind. How do we protect each other?
Human life is not important to Governor Gavin Newsom because of Planned Parenthood. I know it doesn't need to be said, and I know by this point, anytime a Democratic governor talks about how it's important to protect life, I'm just going to interrupt and say Planned Parenthood. But it's always a good reminder. Right off the bat, he shows that he is a hypocrite and doesn't really care about what he says. So I think that's important to mention. Let's see if I was trying to figure out. Hey guys, if you're in the YouTube chat, if you guys can hear what he's saying, okay, let me know. I'm trying to think of a way to turn up the volume. Maybe I can turn. Somebody said, "Man, that sound guy needs to be fired." You know what I might be able to do? I might be able to put a filter on here and turn the volume up. Give me 1 second. Thank you guys for learning how to live stream tonight. Yeah, we can add a gain. Look at that. Yeah, let's just add it.
And how do we save lives? We've already radically changed
I think that
how we
should be
live in
better
Los
for you
Angeles.
guys.
I know how stressful this is to each one of us. And I think we need to be painfully honest tonight that we're about to enter into a new way of living here in Los Angeles for a period.
Look at how scary this is. We have to be honest, guys. Now this is the government. See, what's amazing about this, and this is important, I think that we need to understand. He is not asking you nicely. Ethan, my channel name is youtube.com/ if you just go Crown Rights Media, you'll find it there. Thanks Amanda for doing it. But again, as politely as Gavin Newsom sounds right now, he is being very, very, very aggressive with what he's requesting. So imagine, as I said earlier, imagine an police officer comes up to you and he goes, "Sir, I would like. Would you mind, please? If you could you please let me see your ID?" And then, as he's politely stuttering over his words and he's asking you very nicely for your ID, he places the other hand on his gun. This is what's happening right now. Gavin Newsom is placing his hand on his gun while he's asking the people just to do a favor for him. And this is how the government enforces policies. This is how the government enforces laws, with the threat of the full wrath of the state. And we are in a very serious situation where this man can get up here and act like he's sad to inflict these policies that Democrats always want us to vote for in the first place. This is what Democrats want all the time. And now they have an opportunity. It is in their sights. They know how to bring about death and destruction throughout the state of California without having to have any sort of judicial vote. But it can be done by fiat and asked of you very, very nicely.
What we do and how we do it, and if we get this right, will determine how long this crisis lasts. But what we do and how well we do it is also an act of love.
It's so weird for the government to be calling this mandatory quarantine of people an act of love. It's so weird. Like, this whole thing it's just weird. It's like this guy, this tyrant, Gavin Newsom, has realized that he's a tyrant. But he doesn't have enough guts. He doesn't have enough guts. I'll say guts. He doesn't have enough guts to be able to just bring down the full weight and might and authority of the state of California. Instead, he's shaking in his boots here. He's shaking in his boots. But Gavin, I just want to tell you something. You were elected by the people of California. They wanted this tyranny. They love this tyranny. You are their savior. And there is nothing that can get the people of California down. Not even not having homes and pooping in the streets will get the people of California down. Nothing will get them to vote for a Republican. Nothing at all.
A love for those lives that we seek to protect, and a reflection of how precious they are. We've been through disasters before. We've been through earthquakes and unrest, recently through fires. But as I've repeated before, this is different. It's not just the incredibly brave men and women who are our first responders. It is all of us who have the fate of this crisis in our hands through our actions and our decisions. And the evidence is that the steps we've taken since Sunday are working.
No, notice real quick. Notice this. Notice this sort of collective. It takes a village mentality, right? This is a state forcing the people to do something, but it's all about the collective. It's all about the village. It takes a village to raise a child. Is that what they say? Well, remember, as nice as this sounds, he's not asking you. He's not asking your business to shut down. He's not asking these things of you. He is demanding it. Very, very nicely, though. Very, very, very nice. It's a nice demand.
In many ways, we see for the first time, I can't remember the last time I've opened up a Google traffic map and seen green everywhere. That's a reflection that people actually are staying home. We can see it in the air. We can feel it on the empty streets. And
imagine that. People are actually staying home before Gavin Newsom got up there and required people to stay home. It's almost as if people can make their own decisions about what they want to do with their lives.
I want to thank you, because those are the only metrics we can really go by to see whether people are abiding by what we're asking them to do.
Did he just refer? See, there it is. Thank you. Notice what he said. Thank you for abiding in what we want to do. We want you. Let me just play that back, because I think that's kind of I just want to make sure I get that quote right.
People actually are staying home. We can see it in the air. We can feel it on the empty streets. And I want to thank you, because those are the only metrics we can really go by to see whether people are abiding by what we're asking them to do.
So I believe he said a few seconds before that, he said that if you look on Google Maps, essentially, the lines are green. And that's the metrics he's using to determine if people are actually doing what we say. This is scary. It's scary that that state of California is using Google to determine if people are doing what they're told. You know what? You notice what he said? It's very interesting. He said, asking. What we're asking people to do. Now, if you've ever been in a police encounter, and you can watch First Amendment audits on YouTube. Watch these people that go into public buildings with a video camera and just wait for the police to show up, just to show that the police don't know what the law is. So just Google First Amendment audit, and you'll see these things. And what you'll see is the police will say, you need to leave the building. And the very first thing that the auditors say are you asking me or are you telling me? And if they're asking, they'll usually go, no, thank you, and they'll walk away. That's why you say, am I being detained? No, you're not being detained. Peace, right? So when the government asks you something, that is not an order you have to follow. So just notice how Governor Newsom is asking. It's going to be very clear that he's not asking very much longer.
But I don't want to sugarcoat it. Today is a day that will be seared into the story and the streets of this city. It will be a moment when everything changed.
All right, let's just...
I think about our children who are growing up. Part of a generation, this will be their 9/11, their moment. And we have to...
Now, the fact that he's comparing his order for the people of California to stay home to close their businesses as a 9/11, a terrorist act, I would agree with him. This absolutely is a terrorist act. It's just that he's the terrorist in this situation. Who wrote this speech for him? He's doing awful 1 out of 10.
Explain this to them. We have to safeguard them. We have to hold them. I call it Generation C. This generation that is out there right now looking and feeling and wondering, Mom, Dad, whoever takes care of them, what is this all about? And we need to step up for them.
I'll tell you what it's all about, child. Let me just, little son, gather around. Daughters, gather around. Sit at the feet of your dad. I will tell you exactly what this is all about. This is massive government overreach. I want you to pretend. Let me, little kids. Let me tell you. You know, on Christmas morning, when you wake up and you run downstairs and you see those presents and you just want to rip those presents open and just have a great Christmas day? Well, that same thing is happening with these tyrannical government leaders. They've been wanting to oppress us all along, but they just have to wait for mommy and daddy to come down the stairs, and then they can just get into those presents, and that's exactly what is happening right now. These Democrats, these tyrants have been foaming at the mouth. They've been waiting for this tyranny for years. Like since their heart beats. Their heart beats for this sort of opportunity to oppress people. And they have it. It is Christmas morning, and they're just waiting for mom and dad to come down the stairs so they can just rip apart all the liberty that you have left. This is what's happening, sons. That's what I would tell my kids.
Cadre of our parents and grandparents who are the most vulnerable, who, if we get this right, We will look forward to years and decades ahead with them, hearing the stories of this moment when we came together.
Son, let me tell you the story of the moment. All the businesses in California shut down for absolutely no justifiable reason whatsoever, other than for the government to remind the people who's really in charge. Don't think for a moment that these people are not sending a message to anybody who's starting to get weary of the oppression of the government. This is a message loud and clear to people not like me, who's convinced that the government is a corrupt institution that wants to destroy everything that we've ever known. No, not like me. This is for people who are just, maybe the government is a little bit too restrictive. These people. Now Gavin Newsom is telling them, sit down. Sit down. Don't you backtalk me. Don't you backtalk me. That's what this is really about. This is about putting people in their place. Grant says, this sounds like a manifesto. I couldn't agree with you anymore.
They're the most vulnerable amongst us, who are already fighting disease, who live bravely through pre-existing conditions. Those who are...
Notice how he just dropped that pre-existing condition line in there. These people who live bravely through pre-existing conditions. This is why I could only listen to 5 minutes of this stuff. When my wife sent this to me tonight, it's just so opportunistic, and such a government power grab. I just can't handle it.
Out on the streets in inhumane conditions, and this moment can be a moment when we save them too by the actions we take. This will be
the actions that we as individuals, based on our own decisions, take, or based on the actions of the government. It wasn't very clear about that, but I can tell you it's probably the actions of the government.
A day that stretches and tests the soul of this city, but I'm confident that across Los Angeles County we will rise to the moment. So why are we making this decision? The data...
Notice he hasn't said what the decision is. I've already mentioned it, obviously, because this is a few hours old, 2 hours old. So everybody already knows what it is. But imagine hearing this with absolutely no context as to what is happening whatsoever. It's awful. This is awful. This is the worst job of any governor in oppressing his people. And I have to say it's very weak and cowardly. It's really just not he is not appearing as strong and a symbol of strength in this at all.
Is crystal clear. We're at a point where the increase and the rate of increase, at least of the tests we're getting back, and we all know there's not enough tests. This whole nation and all of us were woefully unprepared for this moment. But it's the same rate that we see in a place like Italy. We are trying to intervene earlier, and we are trying to be one of those countries where that curve starts to flatten. In 1918, cities that took...
We will flatten that curve, or we will flatten your life. Understand that. There is nothing more critical in the entire universe right now, according to the government, than flattening this darn curve.
Action quickly are the ones in which fewer people died. During the Spanish flu, those that moved more slowly, these were the ones in which, it moved more slowly, more people died.
You didn't even get that right, but just to be clear, the Spanish flu was 100 years ago, I believe. And let's just say the medicine wasn't quite that good as it is now. So, big difference. You know, there are things like antibiotics and all sorts of other medications, and it seems like there's even some drugs that are working on this thing, that who knows if we'll ever get to use unless the FDA just decides to just disappear.
We cannot wait, and we must act now. I love this city. I love its people. And while I make these decisions with a heavy heart, I make them with a very clear mind and a steely determination in the days ahead.
I just wanted to let you guys know he's lying right now. He does not have a heavy heart about doing this whatsoever. This is a dream come true for any Democrat ever to be able to inflict these sort of policies at the snap of a finger and not have to have a judicial vote. Not to have to, I'm sorry, a legislative vote. Yeah, a legislative vote and not have to have a judicial appeal. This is a dream come true, a fantasy. He is living out the utmost Democrat fantasy anybody could ever want. Right now, Gavin Newsom, he's living the dream. He's living the dream.
With deep gratitude for our public health officials who are guiding us through this. There's a lot of questions that I know you will have that we will not and cannot answer tonight about all the economic effects and how we will get through this and rebuild. Tonight, our responsibility is to save as many lives and flatten that curve. But one thing is crystal clear in the fog of these days. We are all safer at home. So the city of Los Angeles, like the
Okay. You know what, let's just continue. It was just another flatten the curve thing, and like every time I hear that term flatten the curve, I think my head is going to explode. I hate that term already. Usually, flatten the curve already has negative effects. Usually, when you hear flatten the curve, it means that your YouTube video has demonetized, and it was going like this, and then it demonetized, and well, that curve is flattened. So flatten the curve is not a good thing. And when the government is using it, it's definitely not a good thing because they will kill people with tanks and guns and bullets and weapons and military and soldiers. They will kill people to flatten this curve if they have to. And trust me, if the government keeps doing this, people will die. Not as a result of the coronavirus. They will die at the hands of the tyrannical police state. And maybe it's a good thing. Maybe this is what starts the Boogaloo. Maybe the Boogaloo puts on their Hawaiian shirts and they start to equip. And maybe this is what'll do it. I don't know. But man, like I can't imagine this ever happening to the founding fathers. Actually, well, it did happen to the founding fathers, and they started a war over it. I mean, at what point, guys? I mean, how much of this from the government do we take?
cities that are here with me, many other cities I'm sure who will join as well, and the County of Los Angeles is issuing a safer at home, stay at home order that will go effective midnight tonight. For employees of impacted businesses, this will take effect tomorrow at 11:59 p.m. But all businesses, including museums, malls, retail stores, for-profit companies, and nonprofit organizations, must stop operations that require workers to be present in person.
Nonprofit organizations, so just to be clear, churches.
And no public and private gatherings of any size that would occur outside of a single home will be allowed.
There it is. From the governor himself. You are not allowed to worship. You're not allowed to gather to worship. Even if the church thinks this is absolutely foolishness and a con job by the government is saying, you will stay home. You will not come to worship. You will stay home. Do you guys think that when the government adds laws, like you can't do this, you can't do that, you can't do this, you can't do that, does it ever just go back to where it was? Is there ever a time where that list of regulations gets smaller? No. They always add stuff to it. They never take it away. So when I see the government saying, we're going to have the power and authority to do this, whether you want to or not, it's just insane. It's just insane, and it's not going to go back to the way things were entirely. Desi says she's just tuning in. Has he said how this will be enforced? Well, see, Desi, that's the funny thing we're going to get to.
With clear exceptions. I want to be clear.
Just those clear exceptions, by the way, he didn't say what they were. And I don't think that applies to church. The exceptions are church services.
Clear about this, that the only time you should leave your home is for essential activities and needs.
Does worship count as an essential activity or need? I would say so. I mean, my goodness, guys, here's GameStop. If GameStop can say that they are an essential retail service, then certainly there's got to be some churches in the state of California that can say that they are essential services as well. And if not, here's a message to all the churches in California: sell some used video games. Just sell some used video games. Just sell the old copy. Churches, sell the old copies of the Bible Adventure NES game. Remember that? Sell that game. Sell some bits, please, churches. This is what I've always wanted. I wanted churches to just embrace video games as a legitimate art form. I've been wanting this to happen. Here's your opportunity, church. Sell some video games. Just have all the homeschool kids. This is what you do. Have all the homeschool kids collect all the games they don't play anymore. Hopefully they still have some physical copies of something. I don't know. Board games. Well, what's the difference, right? What you got? Just get the games, bring them to church on Sunday, and sell them, and use the money to fund. I don't know. An individual in your church who lost their job. Sell the video games, use the money, fund an individual in your church that lost their job as a result of this nonsense. Then you are classified as an essential retail store. If GameStop can do it, your church can do it. So all churches, please start selling video games. In Jesus' name, amen.
Get food, care for a relative or a friend or a child, get necessary help.
Okay, caring for a relative, caring for a friend, that happens at church. That counts as essential.
Health care, go for a walk in the neighborhood. And I'm so glad that Catherine was talking about all the things we can do. I think that there's been terrible terms out there like lockdown. Nobody is locked down, and we encourage you not to be locked down.
Nobody is locked down. Unless you're not an essential service, then your business is locked down. Do you see the absurdity? How stupid this is? It's stupid. I hate it.
This is not shelter in place like a school shooting. This is stay at home because you're safer at home. And the only people... So just stay at home unless it's what the government deems as essential. To which my question is, if the government says my activity is not essential, what is going to happen to me? Am I going to be shot? Am I going to be thrown in prison? What is going to happen to people who believe, or actually out of need, a legitimate essential need, to take care of one's loved one, have to keep their business going? What about that? Do they get shot? Do they get thrown in prison? Do they get handcuffs and thrown in the back of a police car and taken home by force and threat of a gun? I don't know how I can be any more clear about this, but let me be clear. The government is not your friend. The government, our government specifically, the government could be your friend. The
The Bible says it's supposed to be your friend. But this government is certainly not your friend. And they're not going to ask you nicely to stay home. They are going to pull that gun off of their hip, point it at your head, and tell you to go home. You know why? Because that's the only power, that's the only way the government has to enforce its power. It's the only way. The government doesn't govern, our government does not govern by grace. And it's not supposed to, any government is not supposed to govern by grace. It is a terror to those who do evil. It bears a sword to punish those who have done wrong. Romans 13 is very clear. It bears a sword. And it's the only thing it knows how to use to enforce what it says.
People who should be leaving home and going out are those whose jobs are critical to the safety, the health, and security of the city, as well as the economy of recovery for us and the nation during this crisis.
I don't know what he means by economy of recovery, but I would say the church is essential based on those circumstances of for the safety and for all the other things he mentioned. The church is absolutely could be classified under all those things.
Emergency personnel, first responders, government employees.
Now notice, this is something that's very important. It's very important. People have been saying this for a long time. But police officers have special privileges that are not granted to regular citizens. And here we see it. People have been saying this for a long time. Police can run red lights, no problem, no tickets. Police can break the speed limit, no problem. And not even, I'm not talking about in the event of an emergency, I'm just saying in general, police just run red lights all the time. Get in accidents, run red lights all the time. They're completely above the law. If you try to arrest a police officer for breaking the law, even those issues are handled through internal affairs. So here we see the governor, again, granting special authority and privileges, just increasing our police state all the more. Immunity.
Medical professionals and vital infrastructure workers will be able to continue their jobs, but they need to exercise the social distancing that can save their lives whenever and wherever possible. The same applies only to critical businesses such as...
You know, I don't like the idea that police officers who are supposed to protect you and help you are also supposed to practice social distancing. Because I guess I just don't trust police officers that much. I would feel like if you were sick and legitimately need help, and you were out on the street, I feel like they would arrest you before they would, especially if they've given the option to social distance. I know not every police officer is bad.
Healthcare provider.
Just be very clear. I know not every police officer is bad, but a lot of them are. A lot of those police officers I'm referring to right now are the ones who would board up a person's business if they refuse to shut it down.
Grocery stores, news outlets, hardware stores, gas stations, dry cleaners, and laundromats, which are permitted to remain in operation. I know a lot of people will have a lot of questions. Go to lacounty.gov. Go to your city's website. For those of you that are City of LA residents, you can see those details and some of the frequently asked questions at coronavirus.lacity.org. If we can slow the spread, we can buy days. And when we buy those days, that means that we can get ventilators, and we can get beds, and kits, and masks, and tests, and this will save lives.
Who's buying those things, by the way? Is that the government that's buying those things? Because sounds expensive.
That's why we're asking this of you today.
Now notice what he said. We're asking this of you today.
One last area I want to address is we do live in a free society. It's the bedrock of who we are. We aren't taking
Pay attention.
people forcibly like in other countries and forcing them to be home. But with freedom comes responsibility. And we're asking everybody who by and large and overwhelmingly has exercised these directives responsibly, to adhere to them. The young and healthy, you're not exempt, you're safer at home. If you're less young and less healthy, you're absolutely safer at home. It's not a time to go to the beach in big groups, to take the whole family to go to the market, to get together with gatherings with friends. This is not the time. And we don't take these steps lightly, but we take them firmly. This is
Okay, wait. Did you hear it? First he was asking you. Now he's being very firm with you.
an act of love for the city that we love. This is LA love. There's no ands, ifs, or buts. This is an order. But one last thing, too, is this is not...
Did you guys just see? We're asking you. Come together. Work together. Let's save the lives. If you don't have to work, don't work. Oh, by the way, we're not asking you. We're being very firm about this. This is an order. My friends, that means that the police can kill you over this. Shut down your business or go to prison. And if you refuse to go to prison, we'll just shoot you. Because that's what happens when you resist arrest, right? There's not a single crime that any police officer enforces that can't be escalated to the point of resisting arrest and you being shot. There's not a single one. They all end. They all have the possibility of ending with that resisting arrest. And if you refuse to shut down your business because you have to keep your family, food on the table of your family. If you refuse to shut down your business, you will be charged with resisting arrest and they can shoot you on the spot. No trial. That's what happens. That's how our government works. That's how the government enforces things. That's how every government enforces things. This is disgusting. This should offend you. This should bother you. This should make you mad. People should be rioting on the streets of California right now. Instead, they're like, my wife was watching this on Facebook Live, and she was commenting under the feed, and my wife was like, "This is crazy," and this lady said, "You're selfish," to my wife. Called my wife selfish, because my wife thought that this was an overreach of government tyranny. And somebody else said, "You don't need rights if you're dead." Or something along those lines. Maybe my wife can tell me if she's even watching this. She's probably not. Maybe she could tell me what she said. But something like, you don't need rights if you're dead. So, this is people's mentality about rights. You're selfish for wanting your rights. I think that's what it was. You're selfish for wanting your rights. How selfish of you to want rights. The right to life and liberty and freedom. That is so incredibly selfish. It's disgusting. It's disgusting. And the people are getting what they wanted. This is the kind of tyranny that people have been wanting. This is the kind of tyranny that Governor Gavin Newsom has been foaming at the mouth. He's been foaming at the mouth. Foaming at the mouth. This guy Justin on my Periscope chat just said, nobody is shooting anybody. Never before has this happened in America. Now, that is ridiculous, Justin. Justin, if nobody is shooting anybody, let me ask you a question. If a police officer pulls you over for a taillight being out, I want you to just ignore him. Ignore the police officer that pulls you over for having your taillight out. And see what happens. It escalates very quickly. And ultimately, it could escalate to the point of a gun. This is very, very true. Justin, if you could show me a way in which the government enforces things that doesn't lead to death when ignored, I would love to see it. I would love to see a way in which the government enforces things that doesn't lead to death when ignored? Show me it. Anybody? Can anybody? Can anybody point me to one example of the government enforcing something in a way that does not lead to death once it has been ignored? If the police tells you to pull over because you have a tail light out and you don't, it will lead to death. It will. It's how the government enforces things. Now, somebody said they could probably just tase you. But again, ultimately, if I ignore the tasing, it ramps up. It ramps up. I would, trust me, I am not the guy who would ignore tasing. That's all it would take of me, honestly. I take everything I have at that point. But no, this is what happens. This is how the government operates. It's with the threat of a gun. It's the only way. Or taser. Whatever. Same thing. People die from tasings. Just for the record, I'm not staying 6 feet apart from my wife. So, like, what is this? 6 feet apart from people? Like, it's just insane and crazy. And notice what it says. They won't get kicked out of their businesses. So if people won't be kicked out of their businesses, how is it an order? We already see reports in Indiana of the government boarding up a bar that refused to shut down. We already see this happening. It's happening. Oh, somebody said they can't see the video. Thank you. Could you hear it? Hopefully you could at least hear it. Well, let me just go back just in case. You know what? It wasn't even that important what was said.
And other school districts that are distributing food. But this is not a request. This is an order.
That's the line. That's the line. You're not going to get kicked out of your business. It's not a request. It is an order. It's an order from the government to shut down your business, but you're not going to get kicked out of your business. I want to play that back one more line. Where are we at? 1653. Let's just play this in context. That's right about here. Just play this in context.
Earlier in this than other places, there's no magic moat around us. It's going to be the same everywhere, and those that act quickly have a chance at being protected more than those that don't. The city will continue to operate, the lights will be on, the water will still come out of the tap, people won't lose their housing, they won't get kicked out of their businesses. LAUSD will continue to feed, and thank you to LAUSD and other school districts that are distributing food. But this is not a request, this is an order.
They won't get kicked out of their businesses. This is not a request. This is an order. Does anybody want to tell me, maybe you guys in the chat, maybe you guys can help me. Can somebody just articulate for me a way in which the government enforces an order? Anybody? Anybody? $5 from Micah that says, cheer up, buddy. I can't cheer up. Like, I really am a happy, joyful person. But when I see these sort of things, like, I honestly don't know why We're not marching the streets of California with muskets. Or squirt guns, or whatever gun they're allowed to have in California. They should be marching the streets with them. Honestly. It's just insane. It's just insane. Groundhog 975 says you can't spell hatred without a red hat. Again, is that a MAGA? Is that a Make America Great Again reference? Okay. Anyway, Micah, thank you for the $5 super chat. Really appreciate it. I am full of joy. But I'm pretty ticked off right now. Rightfully so. Because the government doesn't politely ask you to do things without placing their hand on the gun that's on their hip. That's how the government enforces things. It's the only way the government enforces things. Don't pay your taxes. See if you don't wind up in prison or debt. Just do it. Just do it. It's pretty clear. It's pretty clear. So, anyways, I think that's it for Gavin. We'll continue this because I think this other lady's gonna come up there and she's gonna sort of be the sword. She's gonna give you the full weight. Just lead with love, guys. Love, LA love. This is love, love, love. LA love, LA love. Oh, yeah, by the way, you're ordered to shut your business down. Sounds really loving to me. It's why the government isn't an agent of grace, but is an agent of wrath. And this is what happens when the government tries to step in to be the agent of grace. Hey, look, guys, we're just trying to help everybody out with healthcare. We just want to make sure everybody's safe. We just want to make sure that nobody gets sick. We just want to make sure that we can buy ventilators and medicine for everybody that we want. Shut your business down. That's how it works. That's how it works. But of course, Romans 13, you obey the government. Yeah, but if I obey the government, I have to shut down my business and I can't provide for my family anymore. If I obey the government, I have to fire employees because I won't be able to pay for them. If I obey the government, I'm going to ruin a lot of lives. I can't love my neighbor and do this stupid Love LA stuff at the same time. I don't understand why there's not rioting in the streets of California right now. I honestly don't. The Founding Fathers would not have tolerated this sort of stuff whatsoever. The Bible says in Romans 13 that the government, and he says it in 1 Peter 2, the government is to terrorize those who do evil and reward those who do good. That's what the government is supposed to do. If the government has a twisted view of what is good and what is evil and what it's supposed to do, it is the job of the church to say, well, chill out. Chill out. Take a step back. Take a step back. It's the job of the church. It's what the church is supposed to do. Tell the government to simmer down. And instead, we have all these churches in California, and they're just like, yes, Mr. Newsom. Whatever you say, Governor Newsom. We're at your service, Governor Newsom. And this is the problem. Because if the churches were still running the hospitals, and we weren't taking advice on healthcare from the government, we wouldn't be in this mess. Because the church could handle this. Private business could handle this. But instead, we have this crony capitalist system of healthcare that's a mess. We have the government trying to make a crony capitalist system better by taking ownership of it. And meanwhile, churches don't start hospitals anymore. And that's the problem. Samaritan Ministries, which is pretty good. But that's not a hospital. Churches need to start hospitals. Wouldn't have this problem. Shut your mouth. May God in the spirit of shut your mouth. You just told the churches they can't worship, and then you're gonna say, may God give us a spirit of strength to deal with the tyranny I'm about to impose on millions of people in Los Angeles. Shut your mouth. Oh, man. I keep forgetting to switch back. I'll go back just a little bit so you guys can hear what I just said.
Team, do everything in your hearts with everything that we do to lead with love. And Los Angeles, this is our moment to lead with love and to protect those lives that mean everything to us. May God and the spirit of strength lead us through these days.
Shut your mouth.
With that, I'd like to turn it over to my brother who leads one of the biggest cities in California and the second biggest city here in the county, Robert Garcia.
All right, so this guy's going to come up, and I don't really care what he has to say, but I think it was this woman right here who comes up, and so she's bearing the full weight and explaining how these things will be enforced. So sorry, chat. Sometimes I forget to switch the camera angle. But anyway, here we go.
With our leaders, who have led both exceptionally well and with an enormous amount of courage. So I want to particularly thank Supervisor Catherine Barger and all the other supervisors for the board here in the county of LA. The outstanding leadership is a dream come true, to be honest, for public health leaders. It doesn't always line up, and when it does, it makes a huge difference in being able to do the work that's most effective when you have a pandemic. And I couldn't ask to work for a better group of people than the Board of Supervisors here in LA. I also want to thank Mayor Eric Garcetti from LA. We talk often. LA is a big city and again has set forth a path that allows us to move together but move with deliberate action. And again, that makes a huge difference. When you can all come together, and I want to really acknowledge and be grateful for the mayors from both Long Beach and from the city of Pasadena, and to your health directors and your health officers, because this is an effort here in the entire county to make sure that we're marching together, that we have a plan, and the plan is safer at home, so that we all do our part to make sure that we slow the number of new cases we have of COVID-19. And we must slow the number of new cases we have. We must. Without slowing the number of new cases, we will, for sure, overwhelm not only our healthcare system, but many other essential services as workers who are doing those essential services fall ill. The predictions are not inaccurate to say that many, many people can become infected here in LA County. There's not a single person, except for those who already have the disease of COVID-19, that have any immunity to this virus. That means for all of us, there is a high degree of certainty that with exposure, we will be.
Justin says, I hope you find peace in Christ, Marcus. Don't be afraid of the government. Listen, I'm not afraid of the government. That's why I'm speaking these things right now. I'm not afraid of the government. But I am afraid of people who are afraid of the government, who will look at these sort of polite requests to shut down your business at the threat of a gun. I'm looking at these people, and I'm worried about them. Because I love my neighbor, I'm worried that they're going to be afraid of the government, and they're going to do what these people say. It's outrageous. Justin, so you can sit here and defend your statist views of the government. I would ask you to come on my Discord channel, call me, and we can have this conversation. Because I'm not afraid of the government. I'm not. But there are people that are afraid of the government, and they will shut their businesses down, and they will fire employees or lay off employees, and they will have trouble feeding their family, and they will have to declare bankruptcy because they feared the government. So I know that Christ is king, and because Christ is king, it's why we need to put our foot down as citizens and say enough. Enough. So, Justin, I'm not fearful and angry, man. You can interpret my character on this live stream as much as you want, but I'm not fearful and angry. Well, you know what? Yeah, okay, you got me. I'm fearful and I'm angry. Yes, I fear a government. I fear for the people that are going to be abused by this tyrannical government. And that makes me angry. That makes me angry. You got me. What? Well, of course. Of course. Does anybody submit to the government in a way that is not out of fear? That's the way the government gets what it wants. The reason I let the government steal taxes from me, the reason why I pay traffic tickets, the reason is out of fear. Of course it is. Of course it is. So you got me. You got me. So, anyways, this is let's just have some fun. I'm gonna put in the Discord link. Hopefully, some people can come and cheer me up. Because apparently, I'm fearful of. Well, you know what? I am fearful of the government. Of course, I am. Aren't you? Anyways, guys, here's the Discord. Here's the link to the Discord link. Feel free to join the Discord link. And I will post it here. Excuse me. So that went to Periscope, but it didn't go to Facebook. So let me post this on Facebook real quick so everybody can get a fair opportunity to see the Discord link. But please go ahead and start joining the Discord link right now if you can. And let me just add this right here. Boom. And then let me just post it on Law and Profits real quick. Boop, 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 boop. But yeah, so if you guys want to talk, do a voice chat. Feel free to enter the Discord. We will have a conversation. Maybe we'll do some watch some other videos on YouTube or something. I feel like just chilling with you guys tonight. No rush, no hurry. Julio Rodriguez says Marcus is a reasonable libertarian Alex Jones. I'm not. I don't like that term, Alex Jones, Julio. I mean, okay, a lot of what Alex Jones says is right, but a lot of that stuff is absolutely crazy. So I guess if you mean I have the energy and anger of Alex Jones, yes. But hopefully, I'm not a conspiracy theorist, and what I'm saying is grounded in some sort of rational truth about how corrupt the government is. And has been throughout history. Yeah, so but thanks for the comment that says I'm a reasonable libertarian, Alex Jones. I guess I should make that my my Twitter bio. A reasonable libertarian, Alex Jones. No, guys, I really don't want to be a conspiracy theorist, but like I think at some point you just have to go. Something's not right. Something's not right. So yeah, okay, good. Oh, good. Julio says yes. It's the energy and anger that makes me Alex Jones, not the conspiracy theory stuff. Well, that's good. I don't want to be a conspiracy theorist. Not at all. But you know what? Maybe I can find something. There's this. There's this guy I've been watching on YouTube. Whoops. Let's see. So this guy. Let me see if I can. I'm gonna try to find a good video, but I kind of wanna. Let's see. So this guy, I'll just go to this channel. This guy right here, his name is it's a town in New York. I can't ever say it though. It's like a Maganesset Press. And he essentially what he does is he goes into public buildings with a video camera. And he goes to into these things into these places with a video camera, and usually people get uncomfortable and they're like, oh, it seems like a security risk, better call the police. And then the police get irritated and usually wind up breaking the law and giving either unlawful arrest or unlawful detainment or unlawfully asking for ID. And so he goes in here and the result of him doing this, just like, because when I first saw these, I didn't have any context, and I was like, well, that's weird. What are you doing? But then someone like this guy would kind of brought it out for me, like what's happening here. And the point is, when a police officer forces you from a building when you're not breaking the law, or they request your ID or unlawfully detain you when you're not breaking the law, thousands of people call the police department. And the result is the entire police department gets educated on the right use of the law. And that way it doesn't happen again. So they're called First Amendment audits, and it's amazingly effective. So let's just play. So this says town attorney resigns after this video. This is not. So let me. I got my speed up still. Let's see what happens. Most of the time, this guy doesn't have a lot of vulgar language.
It is, sir. This is the town attorney. I've asked him to leave my office. I asked him 7 times to leave my office. He refused.
It's a press coming to you from the town offices in East Hampton, and we're going inside to see if the town attorney. Yeah, he looks very busy there.
Sir?
Looks extremely busy.
Sir?
You're too busy to talk to me?
Sir, you need
So it's important, if you've never seen these videos before, what's important to understand is everything he's doing is absolutely legal. It is completely legal and constitutionally protected. Oh, wait, we have someone in the Discord? See, thank you. Oh, wow, we have a good amount of people in the Discord. So who wants to go first? Just message in the Discord, message in the general channel, and I'll bring you on right now, actually. We'll go ahead and get this started. This should be fun. So who shall I? There's a good amount of people in here, man. That's pretty awesome. Let's see. We don't even need to watch this stuff. You just watch it on your own, though, because it's really good to show. It's really educational in terms of like how the police will politely request you do something, and then when you refuse, they get a little bit more violent. But anyway, there's 4 people in the chat in the Discord chat right now. just send me a private message if you wanna be on. Or, well, you know what? Let me just. All right. So it looks like we got people joining. Big Mason, what's up, Big Mason? I'm just messaging people that have just entered. But anyways, somebody said the video was kind of loud. You know, that's because I turned it up because the other one was kind of low. But you're probably right. We don't need those settings on there anymore. I'll fix them later. Greg says, why are you sowing discord among the brethren? Okay, sorry guys, I'll turn that audio down now. Let me just do it now so I don't blow your eardrums out again. We put it on. We put the filter on because the press conference volume was so low. And then, well, not anymore. So yeah, welcome to all the people in the Discord. If you're in the Discord right now and you want to call in, just send a note that says me or something like that, and I will be happy to I'll be happy to join in. We can do that. So do. Is anybody here in the voice chat at least? Guess not. So yeah, I'm just waiting for somebody. Just send me a note. I know there's like 8 people that just joined the Discord. So if you want to be a part of it, just send me a quick little message or add me as a friend or anything like that, and then we'll go ahead and bring you on. So anyways, what do you guys think? Let me ask you this. What do you guys think about what's happening with the coronavirus and this martial law that's taken place? It's out of hand. It's out of hand. That's what I think. But that's just my thoughts. Somebody then said I don't have voice chat capability, but it's an absolute shame that people don't see this for what it is. That's exactly right. It's government overreach, guys. It's just that is what it is. So Tommy says, I know about the First Amendment audits. Yeah, man, I've just gotten into those, man. Those have just been, I've really been encouraged by that. So, Revulation says the coronavirus is 100% fake. A manufactured crisis. Well, yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think in certain cities it's been really bad. So I don't want to be the guy that's like the coronavirus is nothing to fear. I don't want to be that guy. I don't want to be the guy that's like there's nothing that. I mean, like, what was the conspiracy theory I heard the other day that it's not a virus, it's just the result of 5G towers that are going up, 5G cell phone towers that are going up. I'm not that guy. That's a different show. That is a different show. So I'm not the guy that says that coronavirus isn't a big deal. I just think the way we handle it matters a lot in terms of how do we handle these sort of things. So that's all I'm saying. Grant says somebody died in his town from it yesterday. That's really sad, man. Like I said, I think it's a problem. Let me just be clear. In case I haven't been. I'm concerned that, well, I believe that the coronavirus is a serious issue. Like, it's an actual virus. I don't think it's like 5G cell phone towers that are infecting a lot of people with radiation, and nobody wants to say it's the 5G towers. It's not me. I'm not the guy. I think it's a real disease. It's a real virus. It's a real thing that's being spread throughout the world. I just think that the tyranny of the government will always be worse than anything that virus could ever be. And I would say that no matter how bad the virus is. Because ultimately God is responsible. And God is sovereign over the viruses. And he's also sovereign over the state. However, I think it's a lot easier to get rid of a plague than it is to get rid of a tyrannical government. Personal thoughts. Julio says, see, you are reasonable, Alex Jones. Thank you. Oh, man. Well, hopefully I don't get kicked off of YouTube like Alex Jones. Oh, well, I mean, there's a lot of people in the Discord. If anybody wants to actually voice chat, just send me a note. And we can do that. So, until then, maybe we'll watch some more First Amendment audits. How about that? You want to watch some First Amendment audits together with me? I'm down. Let's watch some First Amendment audits. Let's do it. Hopefully, let me know if the volume is still too loud.
Leave.
Will you be available this afternoon? Leave your office? When will you be available? Appointment with
I
you.
told you twice now, leave my office. Leave my office.
When will you be available?
Leave my office. I will make an appointment with you. You left a message. I will respond in due course.
You've wasted 6 weeks of my life. I'm not going to wait much longer.
Leave my
You
office.
understand me?
This is the fifth time I told you to leave my office. I'm calling the police if you don't leave now.
You can call whoever you want, sir. I waited for you so that you wouldn't have to go looking for me. But if you want me to wait, I'd be happy to.
I'm not going to need anything from you if you're leaving on your own free will.
You know what? I'll say. I don't know what he's going to tell you, so let's go in and see.
Yep.
Sir, you can leave the office, please. I've asked you to leave the office a number of times. I'm telling you once again to leave the office.
I'm with the officer here. This is a public space. Would you please just allow him the knowledge that this is a public space? And I am well within my rights to walk into this space and request to make an appointment with you and to film this space as well. Do you see any signs here that says private office, do not enter?
I'm not going to get into
Oh, I'm going to get in.
It says the attorney resigned after that video. That's... I like to see the police officers uphold the stuff. So it's interesting. The one thing I like about this guy is he's very, very informative. So while he's doing the audit, and usually they'll call the police, and so he'll hang around, and he says something like, "Well, I can't leave now. I can't leave because you called the police, and I'm not the kind of person that runs from the police." So instead, for an hour or so while the police are coming, he will just educate them on the First Amendment and all the Supreme Court cases that allow him to do what he's doing, and it's pretty fantastic. It's fun to watch, but it's weird because like you watch these videos and like it's very hard to get like a really decent one. Drunk driving cop found passed out on duty. So let's see this. What is it?
We got another keeper right here. Right there, we got you.
Hold on, you might have
Oh, what is going on? Let's go back.
You got it?
Hey, is there a trick to his
There's
duty belt?
Velcros. Yeah, there's some keepers. Let me see.
Okay, yeah, I'll let you in.
Brother, we got you.
Hold on, he might have make sure he doesn't have backup.
Well, where's that shoe, Rick?
Here, Rick. Hang on, I'm out here.
I thought you were the one. We got a bus coming? Okay. Yeah, bro, you're gonna be good.
Backup or anything, right?
I can't feel anything.
Well,
I got it.
that's not really a First Amendment audit. So, it's hard to find the good ones. I don't really know of any offhand. I should have found some before. Maybe if you guys got some links to some good First Amendment audits, let me know. I will say there will be a video with a call to action to a police department and a district attorney dropping on Apologia's channel, hopefully tomorrow morning. I worked on that this week. Just more police officers not doing their job and punishing evil. So you'll see that video tomorrow, and you guys can you guys can do that. So let's see. I actually heard that there's been so many people going in. They've been doing these audits at post offices because there's actually signs on the wall of post offices that grant permission of the press to film inside of a post office. And so a lot of people do it there because it's very easy to point the police officers to the sign that says you have permission. And so the post offices have issued a statement letting the employees know that people are in fact allowed to be there and film. So I think these auditors are heroes, man. I think these auditors are heroes. There's another guy I like. Well, I don't know if I really like him. He says his audit he does auditing, but he tends to get verbally abusive with the police officers, which I don't know. That's not Romans 13. But it is nice when he talks to them like they're a man. So anyways, I think I'm gonna end the stream there right for now. I might come on later on tonight and just maybe find some videos we can watch together or something. But for now, I'm going to end the stream. It was great having you guys on. I really enjoyed this whole thing with you guys today. It's been really fun. Thank you guys so much for watching. Thanks for the super chats. It's been fantastic. And I hope you guys have a great day.